Damn, you wrote a lot today.
Did you guys pull up your show notes yet?
Look
You got
up,
it?
Dean.
Ryan, you got them?
No, I have a slow iPhone. You know how that is.
Oh my gosh. Don't you have a new iPhone?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, my phone's not slow.
Dude, my forums are pumped right now.
Dude, my forums are killing me.
All right,
still.
I'm ready.
All right, you guys ready?
We could
Yeah.
add that
All
into our
right,
segment.
here we go.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Yeah. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
What's up, everybody? We are the Three Amigos and a Podcast, episode 19. I went with the Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn episode.
Ooh,
Oh, that's good. That's
Dude.
that's our boy.
very touching.
I know we're not big gamblers, but when I do go to a casino and I play roulette, I always put some chips down touching 19.
Dude, gotta throw it down on the 19.
Did you just say you're not a huge gambling person?
That's a lie. Dude, all right. Speaking, we'll get to it, but I lost a lot of money this weekend. It was I was upsetting.
It's
Be
not
careful. It's still within the first 10 minutes. Sarah can get mad.
quoting Hangover, it's not
She
gambling
knows.
if you know you're gonna win.
Well, I didn't know I was gonna win. I thought I was gonna win, and I still lost. So there's that. But dude, this weekend, that
There-
weather was crazy.
Yeah, it just I think you saw both ends of the spectrum, 100 plus, and then like what was that, under 20, sub 20?
Where the hell were
What?
you?
I don't know. Wasn't there a really cold game? Wasn't it Denver and
No.
We're talking about
no, we're talking
here.
about the weather here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about sports.
No,
No.
we're in San Diego. It doesn't get sub 20. It gets like 60.
I was like,
and
where
we
the
put
hell were
jackets on.
you
No,
hanging
I
out?
thought we were talking about the NFL games this week.
No.
It was
no.
cold in the NFL too, though. I mean, there was a
that,
widespread.
That
yeah.
Denver game was. They said it was snowing over there.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
well,
here in
that's
This is,
San
the, this is the
Diego-
first 10 minutes, though, so we're talking about
We're talking about our lives
Our
right
lives.
Okay,
first.
well,
Just where we
you gotta,
keep people
you gotta
involved.
cut this out now.
now. No, I'm
No,
not
we're
cutting it
good.
out.
We're good. It's all right.
But yeah, crazy weather this weekend. It
Yeah.
rained for like the first time in months.
Yeah, my sister's high school football game that got canceled in the third quarter because of like a bunch of them. I guess only 3 games in all of San Diego just got
Finished?
canceled. No,
Yeah.
they don't count as a win or loss for either team.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they're just like,
yeah,
you're
it's just
done.
a scratch.
yeah.
It sucks too because one of the players blew out his ACL. And so it's like it's for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
Damn,
but no, it's
big
crazy
time.
weather. The lightning was nuts.
Yeah, lightning. My coworker Jim at work. He lives up in at like Escondido or near the Wild Animal Park.
Yeah,
And lightning struck up there, shut all of his power off, and
yeah.
it
That's
fried
what Leah's
his-
game was.
They-
Yeah, it fried his garage door opener. He had to get a new one.
Damn.
Yeah,
They delayed the state game for like over an hour, I think.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
they put out like a weather warning. Everyone had to take cover because
That doesn't
San
happen
Diego.
often here.
San Diego, if you get hit with water, you don't know what you're doing. You got to get out of here.
God forbid anybody
Yeah.
be driving when there's water coming from the sky.
Oh man,
Well, the roads here just are not.
they're not built for it.
Neither are
Yeah.
the drivers.
Yeah,
That too.
that's too.
They're not used to it.
But then other big news besides the weather was last week we kind of, I guess we talked crap a little bit about the All Bad podcast. Also, shout out to them. We're recording in their All Bad podcast studio
Yeah,
right
we
now.
got their nice
so-
little setup here.
That's right.
Fancy microphones, cool headsets.
Yeah,
So
but
if you notice the increase in quality, that's the reasoning.
that's why.
We're very frugal human beings.
Yeah. But we called them out about that hang challenge and then their choice of wings, and they retaliated back. They kind of dissed us on Instagram with a Drake meme, and so we had to come back and we had to accept their challenge and do that hang challenge.
Yeah, so we just did that.
All of our forearms are extremely tight right now. And
my hands are killing me.
Yep.
We did a collective, so basically they challenged us to the hang challenge. Loser is going to buy wings.
And the
It
hang
was
challenge is hanging from a pull-up bar,
just
not
dead
doing
weight.
a pull-up, just dead weight.
Yeah.
And the goal is try to get to as close to 2 minutes as you can. We were all relatively close. Dean went over 2 minutes, which was great.
I was
Brandon was
surprised,
about a minute 45, and myself was 131.
yeah.
So
we're all there pretty
yeah,
much.
Yeah,
5
we were all
minutes
right
and
around that
41
I
seconds.
feel like
yeah.
none of us really like overachieved, but we all did pretty much exactly what we were looking, other than Dean, I guess.
I thought I overachieved.
Yeah, you did really good.
Yeah.
Dean overachieved.
I felt like I overachieved a little bit, but still, yeah. So loser has to buy wings. It's us, the Three Amigos, versus Enrique, Philly, and James
Yeah.
over there at the All Bad podcast.
And by the way,
And
Enrique said he was going to go to a butcher shop and buy us wings. Like, he better cook those wings then.
what do you think? He's just going
Ooh.
to give us raw
He's going to give
wings?
us frozen wings.
I don't know, man. Well, I hope from
they
a butcher
wouldn't-
shop
they
it would
wouldn't
be frozen.
but
Yeah. I want cooked,
he
I want
better
cooked
make
wings.
them for us. Yeah,
If we end up winning this, I want cooked wings.
well, we are in their studio. Enrique is going to come join us after he eats his dinner because I don't know who eats dinner at 9 o'clock.
That's a snack.
That's pretty late at
That's
night.
late.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. I eat at like 6:30.
Yeah. That's.
I'm a retirement home.
I'm even at like,
early.
I'm even at
I
like
don't know.
5 o'clock hours sometimes.
That's
you know?
early.
That's early. That's
That's me now.
But anyways,
I basically
so
just eat whenever I have time.
Enrique is Brandon's brother, as we mentioned many times. Did you see that Michigan versus Michigan State rivalry week commercial that's coming out?
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
when brothers fight, just let it happen.
That's how it is.
That's what it is. It's brothers fighting over here, and we're the younger. I feel like our podcast is kind of like the little brother podcast of of the All Bad podcast.
We're
I would like to at least let our listeners know we were here first.
Well, we're here first, but I mean we're younger than them.
I get it. I know what you're saying.
We have 19 episodes. I think they're on. What episode are they on?
3 or
5,
4?
6,
Yeah,
Is it 5 or
4,
6?
5,
I don't know.
4.
Whatever it is, we're
Well,
way surpassing them in
regardless,
episode
you know,
count.
They're older. They're older
They're doing a
gentlemen.
fine job on their podcast.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. I listened to the whole thing the other day.
Clearly, we're gonna win. So my stomach's already rumbling for
I don't
some
know,
wings.
man.
Yeah.
I feel like
James is that wild horse, though.
yeah. You never know. He's practicing too.
When you're throwing down the challenge, that's when you know you're good at the
Dean's
challenge.
just a
Yeah.
competitive monster, so
I don't like to lose.
yeah,
That's right.
But
he gets very cranky.
big week in sports. MLB, the ALCS was wrapping up. We just watched the Red Sox beat the Astros. What was that score? 5-2
4-1
or 4-1?
4-1.
As they won the series 4-1.
Swept him at home, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they were going to take that series, but I did not think it was going to go that quickly.
I didn't think it was going to go that quickly either. And the Astros definitely are gamers, and I really think that in the end it was their bullpen that kind of let them down.
Yeah, it wasn't like they gave up a ton of runs. It was a battle yesterday. That was a really good game. It was back
was
and
really
forth
game.
the whole time. The Red Sox deserve to be in the World Series. They're the best team coming out of the AL.
108 wins in the regular season.
That's a franchise record for them too.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty impressive feat when you talk about, it's not always the team that deserves to be there that's there. And I think, their starting pitching rotation, their bullpen. I mean, Craig Kimbrell showed up and
Yeah,
he
I thought he was gonna
dominated.
lose that series for him.
yeah, he played phenomenally. And I mean, he went out there, he was lights out in the 9th inning, shut down the majority of their big hitters. I saw the same thing with the Cubs as I did with the Astros. Their big guys just didn't show up this playoff.
Well, it kind of sucked too because Altuve, he's clearly that best bat on that team, and he pulled his hamstring, so they kind of had to move him to a DH role, and he wasn't feeling 100%, which always sucks when
and that's
the
part of the
biggest
game.
games on your life.
Yeah.
You know.
You gotta account for injuries. I think that's something that a lot of sports fans forget about. That the good teams aren't just the starting rotation, but it's how deep your bullpen goes. It's how deep your bench is, and I mean across the board, the Red Sox looked phenomenal all year. They were the clear-cut favorite in that division above the Yankees, who were also another 100-win team.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of good baseball in the American League this year. I'm a little disappointed that it didn't go more games, but I thought the quality of each game was still good.
Yeah. Well, Enrique finally finished up his dinner, and he's here sitting with us.
I am.
So, how do you feel after watching us and filming us do that hang challenge?
Oh,
Your
we're gonna
guys'
get on that?
chances. What kind of seasoning are we going to do these wings for us?
It's up to you guys.
Well, I like
If you guys
I like
win.
a lemon pepper.
What's wrong with you?
You
Buffalo.
know,
Do you like dry wings? You're a
I
dry
guess
wing kind
so.
of guy?
yeah, I prefer dry wings, but if they're homemade, I'll do a dry wing.
Right.
I prefer some buffalo sauce on there.
Yeah,
That's just
just
me
not
personally.
Buffalo Wild Wings because
Well, you can get a mixture. Whatever you guys want.
Well,
That's if you beat us. But if we win,
well, you.
So you guys,
you already know.
You're getting Pizza
like-
Hut wings though, right? Or sorry,
Papa John's.
Papa
what did he
John's.
say?
Papa John's wings, yeah.
Some Peyton Manning wings.
Okay, he doesn't speak for the groups. I was surprised because he's a culinary. He has a chef background. So, Papa John's. So
He just must like him when he's drunk or something, right?
That has to be it.
Papa
he
Gino.
rarely drinks. So
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay,
even,
well,
names.
when
that's
he's
even crazier.
when he's cheesing out,
Yeah.
Stony Baloney, he's got.
So I never got to figure out where your favorite wings are from.
My favorite wings, honestly, it's just as bad as Papa John's. It's Domino's.
What is wrong
Oh
with
my
you people?
God.
You know, your brother doesn't eat cheese. Dean doesn't eat cheese. None of them like seasoning on anything.
Well, Enrique's like
I
Bubble
know that,
Boy.
but he's
Yeah,
like
gluten free.
I can't have gluten. I can't have
His is
milk. I
his is
can't
an
have.
allergy
his is
thing.
an allergy thing though. Your guys is a choice.
Mine's just a dislike. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You don't like French fries.
It's a preference.
It's not that I don't like them. I just don't prefer them.
Yeah, you're like, would you rather
If
have?
they're there, I'll eat them.
Yeah, they're a messy food. I don't like as it is. I have to. It's just a weird thing.
Well,
to
you
eat.
like French fries. I
Do
feel
you
like you
eat-
always
I
get
love French fries.
Do you eat?
Yeah,
do
what
you
were
eat
you
ribs
talking
with
about?
a fork and a knife?
Are you talking
Ribs
about
are.
wings?
I love ribs. I think I prefer ribs over wings.
Yeah.
They're a little bit, even though they're a messy, they're still a messy food item,
I
but
think
they're a tad bit easier to eat. Like you can just use 2 fingers and kind of like twist it around. A wing, you kind of have to.
Is that what you do? You just use 2 fingers? You know.
Hey, sometime.
I thought this was
Hey,
a
now.
PG. I thought this was a family show.
No,
Definitely
we
not.
get the explicit tag
I
on
know.
Instagram.
I've been listening. It's getting a little bit more. You guys are
Little
letting your
spicier?
hair down. Yeah,
Little-
exactly.
little spicier.
Your brother dropped a motherfucker last week.
Yep.
Wow.
I know. I was like, "Are you
We're like, we're
serious?"
sending this to your
Well,
mother.
Well,
exactly. I need
you
to.
forced it.
I don't know
You
about
forced
that.
my hand there.
I'm sure he was twisting your arm. He's like, you better say it.
You better say it.
But
What did Jimmy
Enrique,
Butler?
Enrique's over there with the All Bad podcast, and you're still doing the Because You Watch podcast occasionally every now and then.
Yeah,
you
we're
get a-
actually gonna like reformat that. We're gonna do it in seasons. So I'm gonna probably like record a handful of them at a time and release them like whatever 10, 12 episodes, and then
There you go. Yeah.
because
So
it's
then,
really hard. One podcast is tough enough. Doing 2 is just
So then
the
just,
scheduling.
a little like
Oh, yeah.
preview. What movies are you looking forward to that are coming out?
Well, a big one that I really wanted to have you guys on. It's kind of a little too late in the game for that, but you being a sports podcast, it would have been awesome to have I guess we can. I was gonna have some baseball. It could have been like Sandlot or Rookie of the Year.
Well, you could still do that if you're releasing them in seasons.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, we can probably record it
Yeah.
because I'm probably not gonna pick it up for another month.
Well, upcoming movies. What are you looking forward to?
Well, upcoming, there's a big movie coming out next week that we're going to be doing an episode of.
Oh, can you not release?
No,
the
I can
name
release
of
it. It's the mid-'90s movie. It's the
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill's directorial debut. It's a skateboarding movie set in the mid-'90s. And if you're a skateboarder...
What's the name of it? I don't think I've seen
It's
a
called
preview.
mid-'90s.
Oh, it's called
I
Mid-90s?
know. He's told me about it. I haven't
know,
seen
I-
any trailers. He's not really done a great job promoting it, but
Well, it's just because you're not paying attention.
I'm not paying attention enough.
Well, I mean, I watch TVs and I get push
No,
notifications from
it's-
IMDb.
they're
for
already
previews,
saying-
so.
No, they're saying that it's going to draw Academy Award buzz.
Wow.
Like it's a
Good to know.
skateboard movie. It's about, but it really captured. I think movies have done a pretty poor job about capturing the whole skate scene. You know, they'll have people riding with helmets, which is fairly unrealistic. And I think the closest thing we've had is kids, which that's a bad representation of the skate culture.
I think the last skateboard movie I watched was Lords of Dogtown.
I was just gonna say, Lords
you
of
know, that
Dogtown
was actually a pretty good one.
I actually
Does
like
Brink
that
not
movie.
count?
What?
Does Brink not count?
That was rollerblading though.
Even though I was even though growing up in the skateboard culture,
know.
Brink
I don't-
still stands as.
I loved Brink though.
If you were in any sort of extreme sports, surfing, whatever, skateboarding, rollerblading, like Brink just kind of hit home. And you're just like, yeah, I'm not about selling out.
Well, what about this new Aladdin live action movie?
Oh, that looks pretty good. Aladdin is probably a top 3 Disney
Will
cartoon.
Smith as the genie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Super
gonna be.
exciting.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he kind of goes about how his portrayal, because I mean, Robin Williams killed it.
I will say the movie that I've been waiting for years is Creed 2. I've been dying.
Yeah.
I've been dying
Oh,
for this
yeah.
movie. I can't wait
The
for that
trailer
movie to
looks
come.
amazing.
It does.
And Ivan Drago's gonna be it,
If he
and
dies,
Rocky
he
4 might
dies.
be like one of my favorite movies of all time. And so
yeah,
yeah, I'm probably going to see the the 7 o'clock release on Thursday night, whenever that comes out.
We're due. We haven't gone to a Thursday movie.
We are
yet.
really due. I think it's been since Avengers.
I know. Well, I'm going.
Which is already out on video now.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's usually always those like superhero movies.
Brandon never wants to go now because he's on this podcast. So
When was the last one?
I don't know.
I
We did talk about Venom, but I'm glad we.
Why is he getting bad reviews?
Venom got horrible reviews. I still want to see it.
I thought they got bad reviews because of all those Lady Gaga supporters release like
That's
fake
right.
news about it.
Yeah, that's some Alex Jones type stuff. So
There's some diehard Gaga fans out there.
I want to see that movie too. That looks good.
That makes
What,
that makes one of us.
What is it called?
The Lady Gaga movie?
Yeah.
The star of something.
Star is Born?
Star
There
is
you go.
Born. Yeah.
The star of tomorrow.
This is like the
That's-
fourth
that
time
would've
they've
been
done this
better.
movie, so I think fourth time's a charm.
Yeah, I heard it's a remake. I've never heard of the movie
The
before.
first one
so-
was done like 1930.
What?
Yeah, that was like the first time they did the movie. Was
Well,
it in the 1930s?
It's not about Lady Gaga. It's just she's just an actress. I thought it was like her story.
Yeah, I thought it was her.
No,
I thought it
it's
was
not
her
about
story.
I mean, it's about just kind of a performer that's on his way out and an up and comer, and they kind of fall in love, and it's just about the two different, paths. The person that had stardom and now is losing it, and the person that's being introduced into it. So, I like those kind of movies.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's over there at the All Bad podcast. We'll get back to our podcast now. Before you rudely interrupted Enrique, we were talking about this ALCS game with the Red Sox and the Astros. I know we'll recap like a little bit of the entire series, just things that I didn't watch all the games. I watched game 1 and 2, and then obviously game 5 tonight. But game 1, there was a lot of controversy because there was that Astros employee that got kicked out by security for seemed like cheating. It was an employee that was sitting in the photo booth across from the Red Sox dugout that didn't have what is that, commercial credentials or whatever it's called. Didn't have credentials to be in that booth, and he had his cell phone, and it looked like he was filming across the way into their dugout. So I know the Astros, they've been caught trying to steal signs before in the past.
It's baseball, man.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it is
cheating
baseball,
all the time. It's probably the most cheating sport in all of sports.
I was just gonna say, as a Padre fan, we kind of model our team after the Astros. It's kind of sad. I feel like it almost puts an asterisk on what they did last year, knowing that there was some dirty play involved to the reasoning why they won that championship.
I don't think so at all.
Really?
No, because everybody does it all the time. You're taught at such a young age to steal signs.
Well,
And it's just
trying
the
to read signs.
No, you're
Trying
stealing signs. Like that. That's what they call it. Like, hey,
Yeah,
we need to figure
I
out.
know you steal signs, but it's not to the point of using some kind of
Yeah.
Well, I
medium
think they
of
all
filming.
do it.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure I mean, look at the amount of technology that we have. And it's not like the third base coach is out there hiding their signs. They're in plain daylight. The catcher's out there in plain daylight. There's camera angles looking at it the whole time.
But that's why when you get into like college and majors, the signs don't come from the third base coach. They come from the dugout.
They come from both.
The third base
But-
coach is really
but-
just more of the distraction. It's like
I mean, they might be
It's
calling
not as
signs that you
simple-
don't know that are there.
I feel like every team does it differently, though.
But
And
no,
so
it's-
you don't know how it's done.
It's just one of those things where when you get caught, you get caught. But every team is trying to gain an advantage on others. It's the same thing with the Patriots when they had the whole Spygate.
That's every team's always trying to get an advantage.
Yeah, but in baseball, it happens more, especially now as technology is getting better. There's just more ways to figure out how to cheat.
yeah, but it just didn't seem. I don't know. Just the fact that the Astros, an ex-employee, came out and said, like, yes, they train us on how to use our camera phones to watch catchers and managers and third base coaches, like you said. And maybe it happens across.
I can
every
almost
team.
guarantee you it does.
I'm sure it does. Just the fact that an ex-employee for the Astros organization came out and said that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like hearing it from an ex-employee is kind of like hearing your ex-girlfriend talk about you. It's like, of course, they're not going to have a whole lot of nice things to say.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
It's
I
never
feel like
true.
it's kind of. I feel like it's kind of hard to to gauge an opinion off of that, but I don't think that it's something that is lost on any other team. And obviously, like, you get pissed off when somebody steals your signs, but it's more that you're pissed off because it's like, damn it, why didn't we like catch on faster? So, I mean, from top to bottom, I mean, players on second are trying to figure out ways to steal if you're a base runner on second base, you're trying to figure out ways to steal the signs from the catcher to get to your batter. So, I mean, there's so many open opportunities to cheat in baseball. And like I said, the signs are called, they're not hiding it.
Yeah.
It's not like in football, like if you have, a microphone in the quarterback's headset where it's like, hey, we're going to try to find, how to get on their stream so we can figure out what plays they're going to call. I mean, if a catcher sets up low and away for a fastball, like, you still have to hit the fastball.
Yeah.
So regardless, it's not foolproof. It doesn't take away from the talent of the team. You still have to be talented to win in this league. But I just look at it as you're going to start to see more and more people cheating.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, it does happen at all levels. High school baseball, it was kind of first introduced. I mean, to me, maybe not so, maybe earlier to you.
Yeah,
but to
definitely
me,
earlier.
To, watch for indicators. Let's see what kind of hand signals we're doing.
And it's the whole point of, like, you have to switch things up all the time, and it's not always going to work. I mean, people in baseball, they understand that teams are out there trying to steal their signs. So they're trying to come up with new ways week in and week out. It sucks when they figure it out in mid-game because then you have to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
So, it's very interesting.
Definitely interesting. It was shocking that it's the first claim to come out.
Yeah, and I just think it's ironic too because we look at like the whole steroid era of baseball and people are like, oh, well, that's cheating, and it's like, sure. You still have to have
baseball is my favorite.
Yeah, but like you still have to have the talent. Like people give crap to Barry Bonds for taking steroids. Like, okay, well, everybody else in his era was using them, and they didn't hit 750 home runs.
Yeah. Yeah, but then Game 2, I know we talked about it when the Astros signed Osuna, who was he from the Rays?
Scumbag.
The Rays at the time?
He was on the Rays.
Yeah, it was from
Jays.
The Jays,
Jays.
the Blue Jays. And he was the guy that they signed, and he was suspended during domestic violence disputes, and the Astros
he had like a
tried to
60-game
claim
suspension or something.
71, and the Astros tried to say that they have a zero tolerance, yet they signed a guy. And that trade definitely blew up in their face in Game 2. I mean, he hit a batter. He walked 2 for the bases loaded. Gave up a grand slam, cost him the game, and then McCullers Jr. was the one that was closing out games going forward. So, I mean, I was
scumbag.
Deserves glad to see him. But Game 5 or Game 4 yesterday, there was that controversy with the Mookie Betts.
I'm excited to hear what you guys had to say about this.
You
kept me in the dark on this one, so I want to hear it.
Yeah, Jose Altuve looked like he hit a 2-run shot. They called it fan interference. Joe West was the one that was ruling. I think he needs to just retire. Him and Angel Hernandez just need to be done with baseball.
I really want to hear where you guys, because I know you guys looked at the ruling on it.
I'm still mad at Angel Hernandez for blowing that
I understand.
series with the Yankees.
We talked about it last week. I know.
So upset. Anyway, so there's controversy about it. I know I sent you guys that Instagram post, and I said he would have caught that. It should have been an out. But after looking at the rules later, the ball was past the field of play into the stands when it made contact with the fan. Mm-hmm. And once it's past the wall, they can make, as long as it's not in the field of play, they can interfere with the ball. So that's why I think that it should not have been called an out. It should have been a 2-run home run.
Remember, we saw this earlier this year against the Padres in Colorado, and the fan extended.
No, it was at home.
Well, that happened. There was a game in Colorado where the Padres hit. I think it was Eric Hosmer hit one opposite field, and the guy went up for it, whoever their left fielder was, and he was able to, somehow the fan ended up altering his glove, and then they ended up calling it a home run. So
yeah.
I get that, but like even you look back at the play with Moises Alou in the playoffs for the Chicago Cubs, when there was the fan interference in that game. Ultimately, they need to go back to the old Qualcomm build of stadiums. They need to move. They need to separate the field of play from the fans.
I think they need to. There needs to be a buffer between.
But
the
you
wall
remember
and the
exactly how
stands.
Qualcomm was set up for the Padres. There
it was
was
a good
the palm
5-6
trees.
feet.
Yeah, and
in
it doesn't
between.
even need to be that far. Even the way that Petco has been set up in left field in the past, and I think they actually ended up moving it
they brought
out.
it in.
They brought it in.
Yeah, so it's not like that anymore. But I like that there needs to be that gap in between the field of play because it shouldn't be left up for question because it is hard. And I mean, I respect this call more from the umpire than obviously all of Angel Hernandez because at the end of the day, the fan did interfere with the player.
With the glove, yeah.
And obviously, like you're saying, the rule as itself makes sense. Like if the ball extends past the field of play, then it's called
It's
as it
fair
is,
game,
and it's fair
yeah,
game.
yeah.
But it shouldn't be left up to that. Like if you see
No,
a
'cause
fan,
that's
like
an exciting
yeah.
play. Robbing a home run is one of the most exciting plays
but
in
it
baseball.
really did look like the fan got in the way.
He
So that's why I don't
definitely
hate the call. Like
he did, but
because you
definitely
could
did.
see
He
it as soon as
closed
it
his
hit his
glove.
when the glove hit the hand, it was almost like that's what he thought the ball was, so he squeezed.
I
Or
don't even
like
think he squeezed. I think he hit. I think the fan's
hand hit his glove,
hit his
and it
glove.
closed it. Yeah.
I mean, you mink oil your gloves, you get them all worked in.
Well,
and
it's not
stuff
your
like that.
fingers, yeah.
It's not going to
It's
be a
outfielder's
super
glove.
stiff
Yeah.
kind of, leather.
They're flimsy, yeah.
Yeah, but on the other side of the league, the NLCS, Brewers and Dodgers, that Game 6 is tomorrow, but the Dodgers are up 3-2 on the series. I think they take that game tomorrow.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It'll
but
be an exciting World
yeah.
Series to watch.
Yeah.
The Dodgers.
The Brewers really surprised me during the series. I didn't think they were going to make it from the one-game playoff against the Cubs, let alone beat who am I thinking of? The Rockies. I
Well,
didn't
the
think,
Rockies are trash. So
yeah,
but I'm just saying they swept the Rockies.
I
Yeah.
will say this.
So I didn't think they were going to
the Rockies didn't
pick it up
belong
from
in the
there to there
playoffs
to-
at all.
yeah.
They didn't. They're such a young team. I think like for baseball, it would have been better if a team like the Cardinals or the Cubs would have gotten in on that spot. Obviously, that's not how it played out. So now
I wish the Cubs were in this spot because I
The-
think the Cubs and the Red Sox World Series
that would be
been,
huge.
be so much
But
better.
I think
Yeah.
the Dodgers.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
West Coast
Just-
versus East Coast is really cool.
The Cubs were the second best team out of the
You
National
can't rule
League,
out
if
the
not
Brewers
the
yet.
best.
I mean, the Brewers still have an opportunity to win the series, but I just ultimately think the Dodgers pull away.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers take that game tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see. The World Series is going to start up next Tuesday, I think. That first game
Jeez,
starts, so
man.
it's coming up pretty
They
soon.
came up quick.
I know. They really
Uh,
do squeeze it all into October.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up a new segment with all of our listeners and with you guys. I want to give out the Three Amigos in a Podcast Awards. So basically how it's going to work is we're going to designate a special teams, a defense, and an offensive player to give a Amigo award to. And we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but our special teams award is going to go to Mason Crosby this week.
Yeah, man. He had a huge comeback week, had that game-winning field goal against the 49ers. Ultimately, I don't think anybody thought that the Packers should have been in that situation, but he came in clutch. He made all of his field goals, made all of his extra points, coming back from a week where he was 0 for 5. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Your confidence is shaken after that, and to
Yeah.
be able to rebound like that and win the game.
and a
for the
clutch
team.
situation as well. I mean, kicking's all mental. We saw it with Nate Kading when he was here in San Diego with the Chargers. I mean, he was
And
the best
that's
kicker.
the
And
start.
yeah,
Best regular season kicker.
yeah. I mean, but it's so mental. I mean, it's the same motion, and you do it all the time, and something just gets into your head, and these players can't do it anymore.
Yeah, you pull it and stuff. But our second Three Amigo award will go to a defensive player or team, and we're giving it to the Ravens defense this week. They had a huge week, 11 sacks. Obviously, the Titans O-line kind of
They're missing Taylor Lewin, man. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
does that team look bad?
Yeah,
Marcus Mariota, I mean, I feel bad for him because I feel like we haven't got to see his true ability his entire career to this point, and it's sad for a quarterback to go back there and get hit 11 times like that.
Their defense is probably carrying that team to their wins that they have at this point.
Yeah, and they've lost some huge games. They lost to the Bills, and the Ravens. I mean, we don't even know who the Ravens are at this point. The Ravens have lost to the Browns, they've lost to the Bills, and they're still a 4-2 team. So it's hard to gauge that victory because of, like we've said, it's the weirdest year in the NFL because we don't know who these teams are.
yeah.
The Ravens defense looks phenomenal, though. To go out there and shut out any football team is a hard feat to accomplish. So shout out to them. They're definitely deserving of the Amigo Award.
Yeah, and then our offensive amigo award is going to go to Todd Gurley.
Pretty sure that's unanimous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a stud.
Yeah.
He had his first 200-plus rushing yard game.
He's an animal.
So, yeah, that was pretty exciting to watch.
And like 3 touchdowns too, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, I think it was 2 rushing and 1 receiving. So
Yeah.
he had a huge week, and I have him on fantasy, but it did not give
he's
me
not
the
gonna do
win.
that this week, though, right?
Yeah, he's going to do that this
No,
week.
he's not.
Playing Enrique this week.
Yeah.
Senior SA
Sorry
Sneaky.
about that,
That's his
Dean.
sneak.
and me and Ryan are squaring off this week too.
Yeah, I'm
God.
probably
It's
going to
just
get my
rivalry
ass
week
kicked
in the
again.
podcast right now.
Huh?
It's rivalry week on the
This is
podcast.
rivalry week.
Yeah, Brandon's going to kick my ass.
I don't know.
Yeah, but Ryan, like you said, who the hell knows what's going on? in the
I know.
NFL?
Dude, I don't understand. Football
Week
doesn't make
6,
any sense.
Another super confusing week. I don't know if you guys looked at the power rankings at all. The top 3 makes sense. It's the Rams, Patriots, and
I don't know if you've
Chiefs, but yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but like every platform that does power rankings, like NFL, ESPN, Pro Football Reference, like all of them that release a weekly power rankings, they're all totally
Yeah,
different.
they are.
Oh yeah.
It's so confusing, and none of them are wrong, but it's so hard to gauge these victories.
And that's what I mean. They make no sense across the board. It's not like you said. There's no
Well,
unanimous.
And even that, like obviously the Patriots, got that win against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs fell all the way down to number 3 in the power rankings, number 1 last week. Do the Patriots belong as a number 2 team in the power rankings? I don't think so. I mean,
I think you knock off an undefeated team, you deserve to be there.
well, I mean,
personally.
I think
there's
you
obviously
deserve to
that.
go up, but not to
that's
be
what's
number
the,
2,
that's
like-
my only knock with it. Is like, obviously they
Well-
beat the undefeated team. I don't have anybody else to put at number 2, so it's not
Yeah.
it's not an argument. It's just
Yeah.
are they actually the second best team in the NFL? I don't know.
Well, that's like the Chargers beat the Browns, and all of a sudden they go up 6 spots to like number 8, and you're like, really? Do
I mean,
deserve to be-
they started off the season as a top 10 team.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's easy to overreact over one game because it's really one game, which is 1/16.
And their
of the
weekly
season,
power
but-
rankings, they don't mean anything till like
Right.
week 12.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you have no choice but to put the Patriots above the Chiefs
Absolutely.
because they just won.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you put the Chiefs above the Patriots, it just would look wrong. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their power rankings, that's not talking about statistics about which team is getting hot.
Yeah.
Which team is on the rise.
Yeah, and then that Thursday night game, we all thought the Packers were going to blow the 49ers out of the water. I know, Brandon, you said you don't even think that should have been a primetime game.
It shouldn't have.
I mean,
been.
I've been saying the 49ers aren't a bad team.
Yeah,
Well,
the
with
49ers aren't a bad team, and the
And the Packers, they're not.
don't look good on paper.
Well,
so
and I just think that we overrate the Packers in the sense that they're the Packers. But they're not a great team. They have Aaron Rodgers, who's going to
Yeah.
give them the opportunity to win week after week.
Pretty much the Green Bay Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
Honestly.
pretty much carrying that team.
It's
Yeah.
true. I
It's
mean, honestly,
very
I'm surprised their defense
Their
played as
defense
poorly as
isn't
they did.
isn't
though.
bad, and CJ Beathard has played phenomenal. By the way,
Well, he definitely is. I mean, I thought it was just Jimmy Garoppolo carrying because he didn't play that great last year for them.
CJ Beathard didn't do bad. I mean,
But-
I don't.
I mean,
you
did
see
he was
Jimmy
a,
Garoppolo come in and he wins the
Yeah.
last 5 games.
it was a
so-
pretty
Yeah.
small sample size last year from.
It was
from
a
CJ
small,
Beathard.
yeah. Well,
That's-
small sample
that's
size
true.
from both quarterbacks.
Well, yeah,
But it was just, a night and day difference of losing and struggling to winning outright.
Mhm.
So
and their defense is not bad. They have, like I said, they have one of the best front sevens in football.
Buckner,
Yeah,
DeForest Buckner.
Buckner. They have Reuben Foster. I'm sorry. They have Eric Armstead. They have Solomon Thomas. It's a pretty solid front seven.
Yeah.
Goodwin, you saw how much he impacted that team last week. It's just hard when you have so many injuries. They had Jerick McKinnon. He didn't even make it to the regular season. Now they're out. Jimmy Garoppolo. But they're not a bad football team.
Yeah, I agree. It was a shocking game overall. Very entertaining too. And then the Eagles just destroyed the Giants. Eli Manning, his time is done.
Garbage.
Just garbage. He had the lowest quarterback ranking. Ryan, I called you after I was reading this article. You guys want to take a guess at what his QBR was last week?
14.
What do you got, Enrique?
I'll go 13.
3.9.
Oh my God.
I didn't even know it was possible. I thought you just got to show up and you got a 3.9.
Honestly, they don't throw the ball down the field anymore. Their offensive line's terrible.
Well,
He doesn't look confident at all.
He doesn't have time.
The sad
to throw
part
it
is
down.
Beckham still has the longest pass for that team this
Yeah.
year, and that's just sad.
And I think
That's
the
embarrassing.
Your wide receivers throwing the ball better than you.
and I think Saquon
God.
Barkley deserves a huge pat on the back for
gosh.
doing what he's doing with how bad that offense
Oh
is.
God, that guy's he's
That
a
dude
stud.
runs like a man.
Yes,
Honestly, if we would have put him as the MVP or offensive player of the week,
He would have been well deserving
He would
too.
have been well deserving.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, Melvin Gordon. Don't forget about him. He had 3 touchdowns.
That's right.
Yes, he did.
Threw down.
Don't worry, we'll get into the Chargers in a bit.
Oh, good.
But yeah, still one undefeated team. The Rams defeated the Broncos. That was another very entertaining game.
I think all three of us picked the Rams to be
Yeah,
the
we all picked the
undefeated team
Rams.
after
Yeah,
this week.
yeah.
It was a lot closer game than it should have been.
I definitely, yeah,
It
I
was a lot
agree.
closer game.
How
than it
much
should have
longer before the Rams get that first L?
been. Dude,
I think
I think
against-
until they play the Chiefs,
I
they
think-
have
I
a
think
really
that's pretty much
challenging,
it. So they're gonna be 10-0, I think, at that point, right?
something like that. Yeah,
I think the Rams are the team to beat out in the
you
NFC.
honestly think the Chiefs are going to beat the Rams?
I think they could.
Their offenses are
That-
just as explosive,
Let's
and
just-
but the defense of the Rams has been what's keeping them.
Well, we'll see. Things change quickly, like we just said. Everything's
I mean,
crazy.
their defense has been
but-
underperforming, and they're still twice as better
But
than the Chiefs.
just think
Well,
about how
okay, so
exciting
th-
that game's going to be.
so that means that
Two
a
of the
good
best
defense has
offenses.
to beat them. That's
the
basically
Rams.
what you're saying. That yeah, good defense has to beat the Rams. So
Yeah.
they face the 49ers, then the Packers, then the Saints, then the Seahawks.
So I wouldn't sleep on any of those teams.
I wouldn't sleep on them, but I also wouldn't say that those are
I
dominant
said, the-
defenses that are going
the
to shut the
49ers
team down.
No, the 49ers are going to struggle offensively to produce points against the Rams, but it's a division game, and you can't ever rule out a division game. So the
Those-
Rams and the Seahawks right there alone are they're harder games to win based off the fact that they're rivalry games. And then who was the other one you said?
The Packers and the Saints.
The Saints have an underrated defense who's been
agree.
underperforming.
I agree.
Like
definitely.
they've been getting better. So the Saints game is another one that I look at. I'm excited to watch that because that's who I predict to be in the NFC Championship game.
That was my prediction last year.
Yeah,
to
so
go to the Super Bowl.
And I think that the Rams last year, they obviously struggled against the Falcons, not really having a home field advantage. But that's going to be an exciting game. Honestly, though, I wouldn't be surprised if this team starts off 10, 11-0. But it's the NFL. And again, we're talking about one of the weirdest years in football.
I definitely agree.
I
And
think-
it is such a weird year,
Unanimous.
and we had another week with an overtime game with the Bears and the Dolphins.
Stupid Dolphins.
Dude, Brock Osweiler, man, that guy is just
Hey,
garbage.
he
and
showed up, though.
He showed
did.
up, and
Yeah,
every
he
time
did.
I hate that guy, all of a sudden he plays really well.
You're a huge Brock Osweiler fan.
Not.
Are you?
I'm
He,
not.
you have been.
Please
Come
no.
on.
Well, he's almost as big of a fan as him as he is with who's the old Broncos quarterback?
Tim
Simeon?
Tebow?
Tim Tebow.
Oh, geez.
That was your boy, Tim Tebow.
I don't know
There was
why
some
you hate
mystique
I
on
don't
with
get it
Tebow.
either.
There
I
was
don't
some
get-
mystique with Tebow. That was kind of like, oh.
I don't know why you hate on Tebow, but Brock Osweiler, I mean, if I know we talked about doing a Wolf of the Gridiron with Sam Bradford, but Brock Osweiler's definitely weaseled his way into
Yeah,
some
he
money.
practically bankrupted the NFL off being a
Those-
garbage quarterback.
those two-
But he showed up.
He did show
He did
up.
throw a couple interceptions.
He's 5-0 in overtime.
You could
Which
throw
is
Matt Flynn
clutch.
into that discussion
Yeah,
too.
He's rode a couple really good defenses too.
Yeah, and he did this weekend as
Yeah.
well. And then the Ravens, as we talked about, 11 sacks against the Titans. Titans, I don't know what they're doing over there. They just look
Dude,
like they
no,
just want to
they-
get lucky.
I don't know, man. They play the Chargers this week. You never know what could happen when you play the Chargers. So I mean,
they'll lose.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Chargers will lose. No, I'm just kidding.
No, the Chargers.
damn it, Dean.
No, they're not going to. The Chargers this year have been winning games that they're supposed to win.
Yeah. So that leads us into our next one, which is the Chargers over the Browns. And the Chargers, man, I mean, it pisses me off. I called Dean this week
Yeah,
because,
it pisses me off that they're doing so well.
dude, okay, stop. Let me
Okay.
get my words out.
Come on.
So it pisses me off because the Chargers will go out and beat a team like the Browns, who everybody's been ranting and raving about, saying, "Oh, the Browns are a good team this year." Blah blah blah. They should be 5-0. And as soon
which they are a good
yeah,
team.
but as soon as the Chargers beat them, it's like, oh, well, the Chargers, beat a team, and the Browns aren't very good. Like,
Right.
oh, they beat the 49ers. They're not very good.
Yeah, Chargers don't get the respect of
I-
being.
But that's been
yeah.
the same way forever.
It's
Like,
always been like that.
I
yeah.
will say this: when a team gets blown out like that, you got to look at a team and just think they just didn't perform well that day.
Or
That-
maybe they just face
and I know
off
you
against
guys
a good
didn't
team.
watch. I know
That's
you guys
true.
didn't
There's
watch
probably
the
a little bit
game,
of-
but like they owned them on the defensive side of the ball. There wasn't a thing that the Browns could do offensively that the Chargers weren't prepared for. And it sucked because, I mean, I feel bad for Baker Mayfield, but he was sacked 3 times in the first half, and the rest of the time he was running for his life. You know, they were out 2 receivers this week. They came into the game with 3. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they ran, and they ran a lot. And it's not something that you see very often when the Chargers win. Normally, it's them putting the game in Phillip Rivers' hands. He threw the ball 20 times this week. And Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler took over the rest of the game.
Yeah, I will say, in Melvin Gordon, he's that type of guy that you have to get the ball in his hands. You know, maybe he's not that exciting player that you give it to him 3 times and he has 50 rush yards or something like that. He's not averaging 12 yards per carry.
He's shown the ability to get the big play, and the biggest thing that he's incorporated into his game is the fact that he can catch the ball out of the backfield and block.
Yeah,
that's something that the Chargers have always needed because they've lacked with interior linemen. And he's shown the ability to protect Rivers in pressure situations. So I give Melvin Gordon a lot of credit.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers definitely whooped up on the Browns. And it pains me to say they did look good. They look good. But
who's your team? I want to know who's your team.
I don't really have a team right now.
Dean's
I
just
really
sad.
don't.
I thought you were a Texans fan.
I was, but I don't.
He can't really be
my heart's not in it.
No, it's because his heart's still with the Chargers, but he doesn't want to admit it, and he's not going to say it on the podcast.
Never gonna.
He's going to say it with a stupid grin on his face. Though.
If they win the Super Bowl, are you going to be excited? Or are you going to be like
so pissed off?
Are you okay?
I'm going to be more pissed off if they win a Super Bowl.
When Ryan and I are at the parade.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? You guys are going to go up to Carson?
Hell yeah.
There? Hell yeah.
Go all the way up to Carson. Dean, it's an hour away.
Okay,
let's swear like
let's get off the high horse right now. Come on, they're not winning the Super Bowl this year.
I swear to God, if they win the Super Bowl, I'm gonna cut this part of the podcast out, and it's gonna be your fucking ringtone.
I do it. Go ahead.
You're going to have to wait a while.
Yeah, you're going to wait a long time.
Just keep talking shit. It helps. It helps a lot.
Helps who?
Helps me.
The day will come eventually. They have to win one eventually.
And I will keep this, and I will play it at your funeral.
So okay, we'll get on the Chargers. I wasn't going to bring this up. But the Chargers had to reevaluate their revenue stream from.
We're talking about ownership. That's never been
No. But that's the reason why I don't like them is ownership. Players, I like the players. I'll take a player in fantasy. I'll pay attention to a player. I'll see who they are. I like the player. That doesn't mean I'm going to watch the whole team and support the team. That's still ownership.
Every owner's like, all they care about is the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's all about profit.
No, but that's
I
what I
don't
mean.
I don't want to get into that discussion because we'll all start getting really angry. But when it comes to the article that just came out about the Chargers, and
it's not reevaluate the revenue from 500 million to 150.
It's not a surprise.
But I know it's not a surprise. But still, as the NFL owners as a whole, that's got to be like, what are we going to do?
The owners are pissed that they moved this team. The owners are not happy. Dean Spanos is still.
So do you think they're going to move the team again?
No.
If they do eventually, but it won't be back to San Diego.
I'm not saying it's to San Diego. If the Chargers move to another state and
I don't
sell
understand.
ownership,
that's not even a good argument. If they sell ownership, you should reevaluate whether or not you're a fan. Well, but the fact that they're in LA versus Salt Lake City or San Antonio shouldn't make a difference.
I won't be a fan of them. I'll respect them more.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
No, and honestly, that's coming. That day is coming.
So do you think it's coming sooner or later?
I think it has to come sooner. I think with the fact that Alex Spanos passed away and Dean Spanos is looking down the barrel of a huge financial mistake here because his team's not going to be worth what he thought it was going to be, just like everybody said, he's going to have to because he's not going to profit anything, and they have to pay rent to the Rams in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's money that he has to pull out of his pocket,
and he's going to have to because.
And you got to remember, he's the least wealthy owner in the NFL. But outside of the Chargers, I mean, he's worth maybe $300 million, which comparative is nothing to these other owners.
Oh yeah, I mean that's still a crap ton of money.
It's a crap ton of money to one of us, but like when you're looking at owners that are worth $1 billion dollars, I mean, without their NFL team in the cusp of that. Sum of money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a lot. So I feel like, I've known that he's going to sell the team, but I feel like it has to happen sooner rather than later.
Unless they win a Super Bowl. Like, the LA crowd will change. Yeah. They want a winner.
The thing is it's all about winning in sports. If you can win games, if you can have success, fans will follow. Everybody's a bandwagon fan.
But they're 4-2.
And
They were
they're
9-7 last year, and they're still losing money.
Well, the Rams are 6-0,
and
who
they
are you
still
gonna-
don't have a fan base.
but who are you going to root for?
I don't think LA is going to root for either of those teams.
Yeah, the Rams are still having a hard
The,
time.
the Rams are having just as
The
hard of a
Rams
hard
are
time as the
Rams
Chargers.
are doing better than the Chargers.
No,
though.
they're really not.
Are you sure?
No, financially they are not.
If you look at it might be
Like
slightly better.
but they're both
They're
on the
d-
bottom
but
of the
they're
32.
yeah.
I think they're still filling out their stands a bit better than
No,
the Chargers.
they're really not.
I don't know about
They're
that.
filling up like 70,000
The
in 100,000.
The problem is that
capacity.
what you're seeing is fans from other places flying in. They still don't have home field advantage. They have a bigger stadium. I don't know if you've ever seen the layout of the Coliseum, but it doesn't produce a lot of noise because it's a Coliseum. And most of the fans
it's
that
old, but
are, but most of the fans that are showing up are still from other teams. They're getting a little bit of support. The Rams have always had support in LA more than the Chargers, but both of those teams are not in a good place financially when it comes to ticket
which
sales.
is fine, but they're still getting the money for it. It's still revenue for the team.
No, but
Whether or not it's for them or for another
But-
team, they're there to support
But
them.
we're talking about like comparative to the Chargers, and there's not a difference. I mean, when you're looking
It's
at
not
like
a substantial
no.
difference.
Are you talking about fan following or
fan following
revenue
and revenue,
generated?
both.
Both.
I feel like revenue. I feel like the Rams.
They're
are doing a bit
definitely
better.
100%
Well, I mean, the
not. It's
Raiders
the-
still
that
have
was
the-
part of the article,
The Raiders still have the best TV ratings in LA.
and that's most revenue that comes from
That's where you
games.
get your
Yeah. So the Chargers and Rams are both in the bottom of the barrel still when it comes to the Raiders fans still being in LA.
Yeah.
But no, both those teams. I mean, even if the Rams win a Super Bowl, I mean, gosh, like
and they're looking like they're gonna get there.
yeah.
By the way, I know this is totally off topic, but you guys see the Angels are not renewing their contract,
Yeah, I
so
did
they
see
might
that.
they might be moving to Vegas.
It's too packed,
Yeah.
man.
Wow, that would just
It's
be
way
insane.
too packed.
Well, I mean,
Angels
hockey.
in Sin City.
They
Yeah.
moved three. They moved
That's
three
pretty cool.
hockey teams over there, so it's too much. There's
Yeah.
too many sports
Yeah.
in that town. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
I feel like
really too
collectively the
many.
owners of all sports need to get together and be like, hey, what the fuck are we doing?
How do we spread this out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we just talked about it earlier. Today's like the sports equinox. We have hockey, basketball, baseball. We didn't have football tonight. Oh, I guess there was college football on tonight. But
No,
those are
NFL.
It's NFL. It's
Oh,
Thursday night.
Thursday night football. Sorry. So there's NFL tonight.
Yeah.
All these games are on. Like, you're gonna lose some fans. Obviously, like we're baseball fans, football fans, basketball fans. If you had a choice, which game you're gonna go to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have to make that choice. You can't go to both.
And it's hard too, especially on the West Coast. I mean, our weather is to die for, so we have a lot of transplants here that still support their home teams. It's hard to make somebody that
Yeah.
lives here support the home team.
Should have just moved the Raiders to LA. Then this wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the Raiders and I mean a little bit of the Seahawks, rest in peace, their owner. He passed away.
Paul
Super
Allen.
sad,
Yeah,
man.
Paul.
R.I.P.
But they got that win last week over the Raiders. I don't know if you guys saw that video of the Amari Cooper helmet to helmet.
God, that was dirty.
It looked really dirty, but he bobbled the ball first, and then the safety came in from the side.
I don't blame the safety for the play. It just looked dirty.
It looked
It
dirty.
didn't look like
especially
a
in,
dirty
especially
player.
in the,
Helmet
in the
to helmet,
puffy-
man.
It just looks bad.
Well, especially in this
Well, they're talking
super
about-
cushy NFL league now.
And they're talking about trading Amari Cooper. I don't know what kind of
They just
cuckoo.
gotta scrap it now.
I don't know what kind of cuckoo juice John Gruden's on, but he has put that team in the worst position.
100% agree.
yeah.
I mean, gosh, dude, and not to mention Derek Carr's out there looking like his brother David Carr.
Right.
I mean, he's got zero confidence, and they don't have a bad team.
Yeah.
I don't hate the Raiders. I've never hated the Raiders.
Yeah,
I enjoy when the Raiders are good, and so it really bums me out that he's put this team in such a bad situation.
I agree.
Well, I think he wants his team out on the field, and so he's seeing guys from previous,
The past
Regime.
ownership.
past
head
ownership,
coach,
past head coach, and so
different
he wants
schemes,
his own guys in there. He just traded away probably one of the best defensive players that's ever played for that franchise, and
A guy that he is Raider Nation.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you traded him away for which I thought was a solid return, but you could have held
But
on to
not a
him.
guarantee.
And
That's the problem I have with draft picks
and-
for
the player that's
100%
already-
agree. And
Yeah.
so you had somebody who's already proven, and you were in contention to be a great contender for all these years to come, and you just scrapped it
Yeah.
down. And at this point, you're like, all right, just tear the rest of it down.
Dude, I mean, what else do you
Yeah.
do? I mean,
Because that team looks awful.
He has to be tanking.
And that's the problem with the draft picks, though. Is it like I said, it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, how many first round picks have we looked at? Top 5 picks.
Or Khalil Mack would be a player as good as Khalil Mack.
Exactly.
Like 1 in 100.
And you look what he's doing for the Bears right now. That Bears team's a top 5 defense now because they added him. So, I don't know, poorly run from Gruden. I don't know what you would want to call that, but it looks like he's trying to make his own team out there.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he figures it out sometime soon. But as we mentioned, our offensive amigo award, Todd Gurley, with his first 200-plus rushing yard game. The Rams, taking it against the Broncos, still remain undefeated. That was huge. And then another huge running back, Brandon, your favorite player.
My boy AP.
That Redskins team beat the Panthers on Adrian Peterson's back. He was the reason they won that game.
Well, I mean, he didn't have a phenomenal game, but I think he almost touched 100 yards rushing, which is still
90-something.
Yeah, which is still a pretty solid run for a guy his
good
age.
runs too, like third down conversions.
Yeah, and he's
quality runs.
He's one of those guys. I mean, he's not going to be getting the close to 30 carries like he used to. Actually, one of the games he surprisingly got like 26 or something like that. Ridiculous amount of carries.
I know they're trying to limit his carries, but I feel like the way that division's playing out, like they're gonna have to start feeding him the ball more. That's the quarterback Alex Smith is.
He's totally a game flow guy. So if they're up, he's going to get a lot of carries. If they're down, he's not going to get any.
Well, he doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield.
And so, that's their problem. Is when they're down big, and when they're up, they're
like Chris Thompson, get in there.
Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, Alex Smith had 163 yards, and Adrian Peterson had 97 on the ground. So when you almost have as many rushing yards as passing yards,
and again, we don't know who this Bills team is.
What was the Panthers? They beat the Panthers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Texans.
The Panthers are just kind of all over the place, too. And it's like most of the league.
Inconsistent across the board with the Panthers.
Yeah.
The one game that we did miss up on, though, was the Cowboys and Jaguars, though. The Cowboys destroyed
I don't think anybody could have predicted that.
No, not at all.
At least that outcome. You could have maybe picked the Cowboys.
I mean, good for the Cowboys. I don't know what the hell is going on in Jacksonville, though.
Well,
I mean, their defense looked bad.
I think they thought they were just going to run Ezekiel Elliott like crazy, and they were playing off the pass to start as opposed to traditionally going off the run.
But they never could get back. I mean, they ended up losing 41-10.
I think,
yeah.
Cole Beasley just toasted them.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a strong receiver core. Terrence Williams just got a 3-game suspension.
I saw that.
So, I mean...
Hey, look for them for Amari Cooper. That would be
absolutely.
I would.
Yeah, because they're not.
I wouldn't. That wouldn't shock me at all. I would probably think they would be the number one suitor for Amari Cooper. But I mean, again, with the NFL looking so weird. I mean, it's one thing to go out and lose a game to a team. That happens. It's the NFL. Nobody's perfect. It's the hardest feat to accomplish. But to go out and lose 41-10, and then Jalen Ramsey, who always has something to say, just goes into the interview after the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Own it, man. You guys weren't prepared. You didn't execute the way you were supposed to. And, I mean, now you're looking at a team that's like, oh, crap, maybe we're not as good as we're... Like, they're looking like the old Jaguars.
Yeah, that's true. And then, I guess they're my Texans. I guess I'd be a Texans fan a little bit. I don't know.
Glad you...
It's easy when they have a huge win over the Bills, but I mean, it's still the Bills, so that's hard to really take credit for.
And Deshaun Watson, man, I don't know what is going on with him after his injury, but he's not looking good.
Nate Peterman, man, that guy pretty much cost them the game, or that's the reason why they won.
Yeah.
Dude, so I saw something that was really funny was Nate Peterman is winning Colin Kaepernick's collusion case with every interception he throws. And I thought that was hilarious because it's like, this is the reason why Kaepernick's better than this guy.
Yep.
Bring him in.
Yep.
But
I mean, he goes out there his first start, throws 5 interceptions against the Chargers. He's probably thrown 2 interceptions every time he's been into a game.
I don't know why he's still in the league, to be
Me
honest.
and Dean were talking about it, and they finally did announce that Anderson is the starting quarterback.
Did they?
With Allen out.
For this week.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because at first they had announced that Peterman was going to be the starting quarterback. Like, for what?
You got to give up on that.
Honestly, at this point, I would just cut him.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you drafted him, but...
Still, come on.
But he needs a new setting. He needs new coaching.
He needs a football.
No,
that's his new setting.
But even at that, it's like a player like this. It's like maybe down the line somewhere you can have the ability to be a backup quarterback, but you need a change of scenery. You need something to help build your confidence because he has got none right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But that's good to hear that Anderson's starting over there for the Bills because
Well, it's because I've had the Colts defense and I'm playing you.
well, that's better for me that Peterman's not in facing them because then you get more points,
Ooh.
right? So
Ooh, okay.
Dean's like,
thank you.
Peterman. Peterman.
no, I have the Texans. He has the Colts.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
you want the tech. Oh,
I
Never
want
mind,
I want
gotcha.
the Bills to
You
play the better quarterback so they don't turn the ball
Gotcha.
over so much.
Yeah.
Score more.
Anderson.
Yeah, and
Let's talk that Chiefs Pats game.
Whew.
Brandon, that was a great lead-in. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's do it.
He's
Let's
like,
just talking.
hey, man.
Hey, let's
Speed this
get,
shit up. Let's go.
get back on track.
Sorry, we're all over the place. But yeah,
So
Chiefs-Pats game, that was really
I
exciting.
wanted to acknowledge that this was the
Yeah.
best game I thought that Patrick Mahomes had played.
The
So
one he
this-
lost is the one that you're finally on board
but
about.
I told you guys the
That's
whole.
so back-ass words.
Honestly, though, it's not because of the. I mean, I still think that he throws the ball. I mean, he does statistically throw the ball to the most wide open receivers in the NFL. But he didn't get down after the 2 interceptions in the first half, and he crawled his team back into a situation to win. You did see some mistakes in there that young quarterbacks make. I told Dean, and Brady pretty much confirmed it after the game. But that touchdown pass that he threw to Tyreek Hill, like, thank you for fantasy points, but Belichick gave that to him.
Yeah,
He's
we were talking about before you got over here, and it was basically like you had told. We talked about how the Eagles and Patriots game. It was like score quickly, get off the field, let our offense take over, give us time to come back and win it, and that's exactly what the Patriots led them to.
And they only had to do it in the second half of the game as well because they were up big in the first half. But no, Mahomes played well, and he's proven to be an elite quarterback. The problem with the Chiefs, though, and I think that you saw this in the first half of the game, is that there's a huge script on how to beat that team now, and it's not what everybody's been doing. Everybody's been blitzing him, trying to pressure him. He plays better under pressure. He really does.
Yeah.
When
When he can make space, he can get out.
When the Patriots were dropping back into coverage and only rushing 3 or 4 and forced him to make decisions, he made mistakes. He reminds me a lot of Brett Favre, honestly. It sounds crazy, like the comparison sounds crazy, but he's a gunslinger. He wants to hit the home run on each play. And, you saw it with the interception that he threw late in the second half, or in the first half. He wants to force the ball into situations. And when he has more time, to think about it. And the more time he thinks, the worse decision that he's making. So
yeah, that interception, though, I mean, Travis Kelce catches that ball, half the
it wasn't
time.
a bad throw.
It was a good throw.
It's a situational.
He couldn't fight him off.
It's a situational throw, though. Like if you kick a field goal, then you're looking at a better score going into halftime. Yeah. So I mean, those are just mistakes that young quarterbacks make, and they're mistakes that he should make and learn from them. And so that's why I think going forward, this is the game that I wanted to see from him going in to Gillette Stadium, playing against the Patriots. How well is he going to do? Because he hasn't seen a whole lot of crazy home field advantage. For the other team.
Yeah, that's very true.
I think we'll look back on this game as probably the best game in the regular season at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think so.
It's up there. Yeah. As of now, yeah.
I mean, obviously, you have to give the Packers the nod as the best game in the regular season, week 1.
Yeah,
can't forget about that.
Aaron Rodgers came back.
Was a game.
Came back from 21-0.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome, but this was just exciting from start to finish, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the favorite segment that we do every week, the fantasy and reality. Enrique, is this your favorite segment?
I love it.
All right, that's what
Thanks,
I want to
man.
hear.
This is what I wait for.
That's what I
Really
want to
appreciate it.
Well, you can get involved in this too.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if you're a big NBA guy, but NBA is our
Oh,
theme
God.
for fantasy
I
and
already know
reality.
this
There's a
first
couple on
segment.
there.
Our first one is LeBron James will be the MVP of the NBA.
God.
Ryan, let's start with you first. You're a
I
big LeBron
Definitely
fan.
think this is reality.
All right.
Well, and you think about where the MVP comes from. So who was the MVP winner last year? James Harden. So why was he the MVP? Because he has the ability to take over his team, produce the most stats. And as much as I hate that it goes to the stat-driven player,
Yeah.
LeBron's going to be in a situation where they've already said that he's going to maximize minutes. He's going to be on the court as much as he can, and he's going to facilitate and have the ability to put up numbers. So when you look at other players that can compete for that position, Kevin Durant shares touches with, Steph Curry. Obviously we're looking at an Anthony Davis as a potential MVP, but I definitely think this is a reality.
Brandon, what do you think?
I'm going to go fantasy. I'm going to go opposite, which I know catch some flack for. But I honestly, I'm picking Anthony Davis as my pick for MVP, which was literally what you were just saying. Anthony Davis he's just a freak stud.
And he's in a similar situation too.
And so with Boogie Cousins out of that team, and I just look at that guy who's literally going to be carrying that team. Week 1, you saw him that first game against the Rockets. They smoked the Rockets at home in their home opener, and the Rockets are considered probably the consensus number 2 seed in the West at this point. Anthony Davis he can do. You look at his player efficiency rating, he is just off the charts and considered one of the best. And taking nothing away from LeBron, who's the generational talent. He's the best player probably this league seen maybe ever, if not, at this time. So I do think he's going to start to slow down a little bit. He's going to take a back seat to some of the younger guys. I think he's going to turn to more of a facilitator at this point in his career because he's getting a little slower, a little bit older. But, I mean, still taking nothing away from him. I think he's one of the best players in the league, and he probably is the best player in the league at this time.
Thank you. I was going to make sure that you wanted to reevaluate the way you answered that.
Enrique, you want to get on this?
Well, I was in L.A. last weekend for the Drake concert, and
LeBron showed up.
And I'm not a Lakers fan by any means, but wow, the whole town is around LeBron.
Well, I think all of NBA is
all of
LeBron.
NBA. I mean, he's in the right position right now, in LA. And I mean, I watched a little bit of preseason, and it's preseason, so you don't know what to, you take it for what it is. But just seeing how the cast around him really stepped their game up, and I think it is because of him. I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of agree with Ryan.
Speaking as kind of the only Laker fan on the show, I think this is reality too.
Yes.
I think LeBron not winning the MVP year in, year out is the whole Mike Trout argument of him clearly being the best player. Maybe his team isn't always the best or doesn't produce how it should be, but it's called the most valuable player. You take him off of the team and the team tanks. I think we'll see that with Cleveland this year. But yeah, I definitely think it's reality that he wins this MVP award. Enrique, you want to read our next prediction for us?
Where are we?
Celtics
The
win.
Celtics will represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals. What do we think, guys?
Brandon, let's take this one first.
I think that's 100% a reality.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they're the only team in the NBA at this time that can actually push the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I think that could be, honestly, I think that could be a potential 7-game series because just defensively, they just lock down.
Great coaching, too.
And, I mean, we saw the first game against the 76ers, who are probably going to go to the
Eastern Conference
Finals. And, they just smoked them.
Dominated.
And with poor performances from Kyrie Irving, who's probably their most offensively skilled player on that team, and Gordon Hayward struggled as well. So two of their least offensively or most offensively skilled players played poorly, and they still just smoked them. I just think, it's a foregone conclusion. I think they're going to go to the finals.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you that this is reality. Like you said, I think the Celtics have a deep bench. You saw them push into the playoffs last year without Hayward and Irving. And with the addition of those two, if they can stay healthy, I think that it's going to be a 7-game series with them in Golden State. Right?
Jason Tatum.
Yep.
He's a
That
stud.
dude, man.
Oh, God.
I mean, the fact that they drafted him after...
And they got a first-round pick from the 76ers, too.
Yep. After they drafted him, and they got their first-round pick, and they added Gordon Hayward, and Kyrie Irving. I mean, that team is loaded. And then speaking about their bench, Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, they have Markieff Morris.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's phenomenal. And they destroyed the 76ers. I mean, it wasn't even...
Well, they might have 4 first-round picks next year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And this team, we're looking at the start of a dynasty. And
I hate to say that, too.
I know, but, it's crazy because it's the same situation they put themselves, or that the Warriors put themselves in. They were able to surround their talent with their young draft picks, and they nailed it with Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
So yeah, reality.
Yeah, Enrique.
Agree.
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, I mean,
I forgot you
He's
were
like,
here.
you guys covered everything. You're
yeah.
good.
I forgot you were in here.
I know.
Well, what's our next prediction we got on there?
Gosh. Jimmy Butler will finish the season with the Timberwolves. Fantasy versus reality.
I'm gonna go. This one's a tough one, but I'm gonna go.
That's why I put it on there.
I'm gonna go fantasy on this one. That team's already looking a little rough, and that team's gonna be really desperate to unload him once they start tanking. Because I think that team's not making the playoffs this year. They need him, and Thibodeau's not gonna want to trade him. But at some point, the owner's going to step in, and he's going to feel like, I got to trade him to get some value out of him because he's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the offseason, or at the end of the season. So you got to trade him while you have some value.
Yep.
Tibbs probably going to lose his job by the end of the year. That's my prediction. Also, that's a pretty bold prediction. I don't know if it's bold or not, but I think Tibbs going to probably be without a job, and Butler's going to be out before the trade deadline.
So fantasy or reality?
So I said he's going to stay. He's not going to
finish the season with the Timberwolves.
He's not going to be on the Timberwolves at the end of the
fantasy.
season. So you're going to trade him.
Okay.
They're going to be desperate. They're going to be so far out that they have to trade him, and the owner's going to step in.
Okay, perfect. So I'm with Brandon on this one. I think that it's almost a foregone conclusion because, like I said, like he said, I don't think that this team is going to be able to push in the playoffs. And at some point, you're going to have to get some value out. And in the situation that they're in, they're not going to get enough back unless, they would have made this trade at the end of last year, but getting a rental for a half a season is not going to draw nearly as much, value back in assets, whether it's, veteran players or draft picks. But the hard part, is they're going to have to trade him to a team that's contending, and your draft picks aren't going to be very valuable coming back for that. So ultimately, like Brandon said, with Thibodeau, kind of on his way out because he hasn't been able to produce with that team, I don't think that he's going to be on that team at the end of the year. So it's definitely fantasy.
I'm going to go against you guys. I think this is reality. I don't think that Thibodeau is going to be able to man up and try to say that he made a mistake, and I think he's going to hold on to
that wouldn't surprise
to Jimmy
me either.
Butler.
Yeah.
So
and then he's going to get fired.
Yeah. I would agree with Brandon that he's going to get fired, but I think that
the way he manages this situation is going to directly affect his job.
Yeah.
Well, the owner, I mean, he's the GM of the team, and locking up
You're fired for 2 jobs.
Yeah, locking up Andrew Wiggins has severely hurt that team's chance to contend. And I feel bad for him a little bit. They at least got a taste of the playoffs, but that's, I think, the only taste that they're going to get, that one little sliver of taste, getting only one win, I think, against the Rockets
back to the bottom
last
for
year.
you guys.
So, I mean, I think it was a 20-year drought, I think, wasn't it? Or something ridiculous
like 20 years.
So, I feel bad for the franchise and the fans, but, I mean, you put your franchise in one guy's hands, and
yeah, I mean, they're in a bad spot, though, for sure. Our last fantasy in reality is going to be the Cavaliers will not make the playoffs this year.
I don't think I think it's a pretty simple one. I think we're all going to say that they're not making the playoffs this year.
Well, let's see. Ryan's got a different look on his face.
I think
is weak.
I think it's a little, yeah, exactly.
The East is very weak.
That's my only reason, because I mean, being a Heat fan, I don't see the Heat necessarily being a better team than the Cavaliers. And, you get to see what kind of coach Tyronn Lue is going to be without LeBron James. But they still have Kevin Love. Tristan Thompson's not a bad player. They have a pretty deep bench. I wouldn't rule them out as an 8 seed, I guess is what I'm saying, just because the East is as weak as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Enrique, you concur with that?
I concur.
Very, very adequate assumption.
I concur.
Well, let's wrap up the sports equinox and finish off with some NHL. I really only have one team that I care about in the NHL, and that's going to be the Canucks. Elias Pettersson and Brock Beausier look real good, young talent. It's nice because there's a lot of young rookies on the Canucks, and every day almost it's this guy got his first goal, and that's exciting to see. the Canucks moved up 10 spots in their power rankings. Obviously, their power rankings are similar to the NHL or to NFL, and they make no sense. But they're currently tied for the first in the Pacific Division, which I didn't see coming into the season. But yeah, now that you guys know a little bit about hockey, glad you guys are on board with me.
How's the Ducks?
No.
Quack, quack.
Quack, 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 quack.
Are we all Ducks fans here?
Except for
No, I just
me.
like the Mighty Ducks.
Oh yeah, dude, Ducks.
So then we're all.
You guys are not Ducks fans.
I'm a Ducks fan
Ducks
now. I've been
fans.
actually paying attention to what the Ducks.
No,
are
you're
doing.
not Ducks
He just
fans.
gets really mad when we say that too,
Yeah,
because he's the only one that
Oh,
cares.
D, and who's your football team?
I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I'm quack, quack, quack.
Quack, quack, quack.
I was the Ducks,
What?
the San Jose Sharks, and the Phoenix Coyotes were my teams growing up.
Could you pick worse teams to be fans of?
I just liked them because they had cool.
Dean, you're a Yankees and Lakers fan.
Yeah,
but the
come
San
on.
Jose
Come on.
Sharks are just garbage.
Well, they had
You
Sharks.
like who
I
you
love
like. You don't get to
Sharks.
pick the
But
best team.
Haven't the Sharks been to the playoffs last several years?
Because they're a bunch of
But
fucking
they-
cheaters.
What
But
about
they
the
still made the playoffs.
What about the
so they're
Phoenix
not-
Coyotes?
Coyotes are terrible.
Yeah.
They
Well, it makes
haven't been
sense. I
Honestly,
mean,
I
they're-
thought that was
they're-
a minor league team.
They're a hockey team playing out in the desert. It just
Just sounds wrong.
Yeah, they
sounds wrong.
But I got the stat of the day this week.
Stat of the day, stat of the day, dabba-doo-ba-doo, stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day. Bop.
So you guys ready for this one?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Have you guys ever heard of a 1-point safety?
No.
So in the NFL, an extra point is worth 1 point and a safety is worth 2 points, right?
Uh-huh.
So if it's only happened twice in collegiate football, it's never happened in the NFL, but basically a team can get a 1-point safety if the team attempting to kick an extra point is blocked by the defense and then that defense
Returns it back to their end zone.
No. They basically have to go back into the
kicker
kicking
has
team's
to-
end zone, fumble the ball, and the
recover.
offense recovers. It can only be scored by the offense. So the last time it happened was in the 2013 Fiesta Bowl, and the point after was blocked, recovered by the defense, and they either fumbled or threw the ball out of their own end zone.
Which year?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not that long ago. I feel like I would.
For some reason, I
wanna
thought he
see
said
that.
1913. And I was like,
No,
Huh?
2013. The time before that was 2004 in between Texas and Texas A&M.
so elaborate on this one more time because I'm still kind of confused.
So
Trying to
basically,
picture it in my mind.
basically the offense scores. They go out for an extra point. The kick is blocked in college and now in the NFL. That can be returned for 2 points by the defense. But when the defense recovers it, they either try to lateral it or the defender steps into the end zone, steps out of the end zone, back into the end zone and gets tackled.
oh,
So
okay.
it's like a safety.
So they're trying to get those 2 points because if they get tackled with the one, it means nothing.
It means nothing, exactly. So they're trying to do something, and they fumble the ball out of the end zone, which is a safety for the offense. Now that the defense,
That's crazy. I've
has
never
the ball.
even.
yeah.
I never
1
heard
point.
about that.
So it's happened twice in collegiate, 2004, 2013, and Brad Nessler called both of those games. So that's kind of a weird anomaly.
that feels like it's got a little sketch to it.
A little bit, right? But yeah,
conspiracies.
Conspiracy theory.
Alex
Don't
Jones.
get them started. My God. We'll be here for another hour.
aliens.
Aliens.
But that stat of the day was actually brought by my neighbor Nigel. He was the one that first told me about that, and I thought that was extremely interesting.
That's where I heard that story before. I was like, somebody else was telling me about this shit.
Yeah. But we are the three amigos in a podcast. Shout out to Enrique and everybody over there at the All Bad Podcast.
Yes, sir.
For letting us record in their studio and letting us beat them
Hang
in the
on
hang
my-
challenge, as
No,
well as
no.
feeding us wings after we win that
You
challenge.
can't tell them
You
our
guys again,
times either.
Where do you
ahead
guys
of
get it?
time.
What kind of wings do you guys want?
What do you mean? What kind of
Costco wings? I'm just gonna buy you a bag of Costco
No, you
wings.
said you
Dirty-
said you were
Dirty
going
Birds.
to the
Dirty Birds.
you're going to that butcher shop.
Dir-
Oh yeah.
and
Dir-
you were gonna make us wings.
Yeah,
Dirty
I was
Birds.
gonna grill them for you
Dirty,
guys.
dirty Birds.
I like them fried. Can
Dir-
you make a deep fryer?
Dirty
Just
Birds.
install one of those.
So
things
you're
that-
a boneless chicken wing guy?
No,
No,
you're
it have to
fried
have bones.
gotta have bones.
But you could
yeah.
still
But
fry
they don't. They don't
it,
need to be
a bone
breaded.
in.
Yeah, they don't need to be breaded.
No, I want them breaded. I want them
Why?
fried.
I've never had a breaded boned.
I have.
wing.
Hooters has them. They're not great. I like the.
You know, Hooters is like they're shutting down.
I know,
Time to
man.
go.
Well, now that John Gruden's gone, he was the last supporter.
Well, anyways, if you don't feel like cooking, then yeah, we'll do a Dirty Birds.
Dirty
order.
Birds.
I've never been there, so
Oh.
I've never
actually,
been there
it's-
either.
Perfect. You
So,
can take us out to
yeah,
dinner.
I'll-
We're
I'll
not going to
take you
put out
guys.
after.
And you
Dude.
get posted on Instagram with the big L next. No.
we'll do that, but it's not going to happen.
But yeah, shout out to everyone over there at the All Bad Podcast. Thank you guys for having us. We are the Three Amigos in a Podcast. You can get us on iTunes, Podomatic, Spotify, Podcast Addict, literally anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. We're there. We finally got in contact with those people over there at Podomatic, and they're going to start forwarding our feed again.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that'll be good. So yeah, you can listen to us anywhere. Our website, threeamigosinapodcast.wordpress.com. Email us at threeamigosinapodcast@gmail.com.
Sweet.
Thank you everybody for listening, and Enrique, again, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Later.